Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of The Old and the Restless. And if you've been following us in Lansdowne Woods or elsewhere in the senior citizen realm, you know that on The Old and the Restless...
He's old, I'm restless.
There you go. And so, as you can see on the screen, we just returned from a real estate convention. And before you tune this out, I was just in the elevator at Lansdowne Woods and ran into a resident who said, "What are you talking about this morning?" And I said, "We just returned from a real estate convention." And she said, "Well, I won't watch that. How could that be of any interest or relevance to me?" And we're going to make this, I think, we hope, of interest and relevance to you. So, getting started, my name is Andy Norton, and you are?
Phyllis Whetzel.
And we are both agents with Samson Properties in the Tyson's Corner office, and we live
in Lansdowne Woods,
which makes us unique because we're resident realtors there. So,
and Andy, also, while we were in Dallas, we went to the AT&T Stadium at my request because I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. You didn't want to go at first.
I did not want to go to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. No interest whatsoever, but
tell us about your experience.
The Dallas Cowboys Stadium is amazing. So I'm sure when the Washington Commanders build their new stadium, it will be much better than the Cowboys Stadium.
I don't know about that, but I did get a jacket. I should have worn my jacket.
You should have brought your Cowboys jacket, but...
Oh, well, next time.
Okay.
Keep that in mind for next session.
That's right. And speaking of the next session, we've got some interesting videos coming up. Because you may have heard that Amazon bought the Loudoun County campus of George Washington University. And we're going to be talking about that. That's a big deal.
That's going to be the topic of our next newsletter.
Yeah. So be sure that as we get into this, number one, click the subscribe button so that you'll be notified when we post the video.
And like.
And that's right, hit the like button. There is that too. So that helps the YouTube algorithm. Not that you care about the YouTube algorithm, but you'll be notified of our next video, episode number 11. As to the convention and to the criticism of the lady in the Blue Ridge elevator who was wondering, how can this be of any relevance to you? And the answer is, I think we're going to cover three ways. And before I pass the ball to you, because it is the Cowboys, so pass the ball to you, we're going to be talking about the keynote speaker, the closing speaker, and the accountant in the middle. So, would you like to talk about
the opening speaker?
The opening speaker, gratitude.
Gratitude, and he emphasized thank you notes, handwritten thank you notes. And he went on various stories talking about his experience in writing handwritten thank you notes and how it impacted. One of the ones that stands out that I remember, he sent a thank you note to every single basketball player of a team that actually lost their game. I thought that was very interesting, and that really impacted the players.
And he actually got a thank you note back from the coach. But again, how can this be of relevance to Lansdowne Woods? And I think, even though we're seniors, and senior living can be difficult at times, we all have people who do little things for us for which we should express gratitude.
And it's looking for, take the most negative part of a situation and turn it around to make it a positive one.
Yes, there is always lemonade to be found within the lemon. And look, handwritten notes have become a lost art. And even though there were roughly, 1,200 realtors in this meeting?
1,200, yes.
And most of you watching, some of you may send handwritten notes, but look, most of us no longer do. Should we? The impact that a handwritten note makes on the recipient is a huge impact on their day, and sometimes for a whole lot longer than that day. So
I tell you what I was surprised at. I mean, I love the handwritten note, the idea of that, but also 1,200 realtors, there were how many countries represented? 12?
Yeah, something like that. 12 different countries and 48 of the 50 states.
Yeah, including Alaska was there and Hawaii was there.
Yeah.
We haven't figured out yet the 2 states that weren't there.
Yeah, probably the state of confusion and one other. So, but
Okay, moving right along. I'm sorry, I got off track there.
right. So one of the themes of this opening keynote having to do with thank you notes is that a thank you note is an expression of gratitude. And look, there are a lot of negative things going on in our community and in every community. But by focusing on the positive and trying to find the lemonade within the lemon, there are always people that we can thank for the little things that happen to us in the course of a day. And taking a few moments, not just to feel the gratitude, but to express it in the form of a handwritten note. And as we get more in touch with gratitude, it leads also to a sense of fulfillment in life. So, I mean, one of the things that some of you may be thinking, well, what does this have to do with a real estate convention? It has to do with humanity, and part of being in touch with our own humanity is feeling a sense of gratitude to the people around us, even the people that we live close to in our condominiums, that some days might be more of a sense of frustration than gratitude. Even within that, there are people that we can thank who will be grateful, and by expressing our gratitude, we actually can find fulfillment.
And really, I'm probably doing this out of sequence, but it kind of leads into the ending speaker when you're trying to find gratitude, and we're talking about a pot of boiling water that we feel like we're in sometimes.
Yes,
and I know you want to get to Chris, the accountant speaker, but stay tuned for the pot of boiling water. That's important.
Okay, well, we can kind of migrate into that, because if ever there was somebody who should feel a sense of gratitude, it's the closing speaker. So the opening speaker was talking about gratitude, fulfillment, thank you notes, and expressing our gratitude to the people around us and how it makes our community better. If ever anyone had a sense of gratitude about life, it was the closing speaker, who was the ex-con.
Yeah, well, he's actually a convicted felon that is serving life on parole. But he's turned his life around. He's actually now, he teaches, is it criminal justice?
Yes.
In the local university in Dallas. And he's written a couple of books. Are we going to go into this right now?
Yeah, we're going to go into the books in a second. One of the ways that this guy has turned his life around after getting out of prison on parole, and I think he said he's on parole for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
so this is a major thing that he was convicted of.
He's on parole till 2070 something, I think, which is pretty much life because he's already in his 50s.
That's right. And look, and if he lives to 2070, he'll really have something to express gratitude about. But as far as he knows, because he went back to college, got advanced degrees, he thinks that he is the only criminal justice professor in America who actually has served time in a prison. So if that doesn't, and now he's also a motivational speaker, which is why he was there. So the coffee bean.
His story is feeling like prison was a pot of boiling water. And how do you survive in a pot of boiling water? I'm going to read inside the flap of this book. He was the co-author of 2 books. This one, The Coffee Bean, and then one on how to be a coffee bean. So in the coffee bean, inside the flap, life is often difficult. It can be harsh, stressful, and feel like a pot of boiling hot water. The environments we find ourselves in can change, weaken, or harden us and test who we truly are. We can be like the carrot that weakens in the pot, or like the egg that hardens. Or we can be like the coffee bean and discover the power inside us to transform our environment. In other words, the coffee bean makes coffee out of the pot of boiling water.
And tell me, don't some of you in Lansdowne Woods watching this, sometimes it's a health issue, sometimes it's a family issue, it could be a condominium fee issue or a restaurant issue, but don't you sometimes feel like you're in a pot of boiling water too?
Continuing on, inside the book, I love this particular paragraph. Believing and understanding the interaction of love and fear could fit perfectly with the lesson of the coffee bean. That while fear and worry can weaken or harden you, love transforms you and the people and situations around you. If you know you are a coffee bean who leads and lives with love, fear will have no power over you. It sounds like we're in church. I love the lesson.
And it's a lesson that I think is
powerful.
relevant to seniors in Lansdowne Woods and in seniors communities generally. That again, whether it's a health issue, and look, ultimately, we are all going to experience health issues, as will our loved ones, and the health issues alone could be overwhelming. But there's financial issues, maybe it could be a medical bill, condominium fees. I mean, don't even get started with that. We can all feel overwhelmed, and yet, by...
Do you want to be a carrot? Or
a hard-boiled egg,
or a coffee bean.
Or a coffee bean. And as you can
And
tell...
I like my coffee.
To Lansdowne Woods. Okay, so how to actually be a coffee bean. Now keep in mind, this is from a convicted felon who is on parole for the rest of his life, but who's become a motivational speaker, traveling around the country and often speaking to sports teams about how to deal with pressure and negativity in life. So what you're going to do is open that book at random, because there are 111 lessons in this book.
There's 111 life-changing ways to create positive change. It's how to be a coffee bean. His name, by the way, is Damon West, and he co-authored this with a friend of his, John Gordon. So I'm just going to randomly open this book.
Yes.
Okay, practice empathy. That's number 28. Empathy is when we feel with others. It's putting yourself in their shoes and asking yourself, how would I want someone to treat me? That sounds like the golden rule. I heard this from my mother all the time. How would I want someone to treat me if this were happening to me? Once we feel with others and become aware of their struggles, then we can be the most useful for them and help them. I like that one. And that was just random.
Right. And before you get to the next random one,
Okay.
how often do we in Lansdowne Woods encounter a situation where you have two choices? Number one, you can share with your neighbor all the physical ailments that have fallen upon you. And a lot of times, I don't have to tell you, these physical ailments are often not just a sore throat. They can be our bowels, they can be things that are TMI. But within our community, being seniors, we tell others about us when instead we could say, how are you feeling? Tell me. So, and I think that's sort of what you're talking about in that chapter.
Okay, so let's go to another one. Use I am statements. That's number 76.
Okay.
Remind yourself, I am more powerful than any circumstances. I am here to make a difference. I am a coffee bean. That's pretty cool.
I think it is.
I am. Okay. Shall I pick another
Yeah.
one?
Yes, and then I have a couple that I've remembered that
Okay.
and I don't need the book.
Number 55, choose positive thinking. Oh, I like that one. As Henry Ford said, think you can or think you can't. Either way, you're correct. If you think you can, more than likely you will. Ooh,
Yes.
that's powerful.
All 111 transformative lessons are powerful.
I like this one too, number 70. Focus on solutions, not complaints. That's hard to do. You can complain about it or do something about it. If you're going to complain about something, then be ready to offer a solution. I had an employer once that used to tell me that all the time. You come to complain, bring me a solution. Use complaints as a catalyst to create new innovations, ideas, and better processes. When you want to complain, make it a habit to identify a solution. Ooh, I wish Congress would read this book.
So I wish many of our neighbors, so here's an offer that you can probably make. If any of you watching would like to borrow the book from Phyllis, give Phyllis a call at this number so that you too can have your life impacted by this. So the last one was one that I was going to talk about that I simply remembered, that I think has a real applicability to Lansdowne Woods. And let's talk about residents and the board of members and the restaurant. Now look, I am not on the board of members, and I generally try to stay away from committees. But I appreciate that some of our neighbors within Lansdowne Woods have taken of their time and their expertise in life to come together to try to make our community a better place. And then we get to the restaurant and that lesson. Because that lesson is try not to simply complain. And look, is there a lot to complain about? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, to our videographer here. Yes, there's a lot to complain about in everything. But within the complaint, somewhere, there's a solution. And we can simply tell the board of members that runs our community, you find the solution and then come to me. But that doesn't really help them. So that if when we come to meetings, be it a restaurant or condo fees or anything else, yes, we can express our dissatisfaction. But I think also two additional things. Number one, to the members on the board of members, to the individuals, they're giving a lot of their time and doing their best. You can say thank you to them.
Or write a thank you note.
Or write a thank you note to your board of members. And we've got 2 in each building.
Oh, we've got a job to do when we get back.
Oh, yes. And then to the people who actually come forward to serve in the committees in our building. And so there's the thanks, the gratitude, the thank you notes to them. But also, pardon if this isn't too preachy, within the complaint, try to find a solution and offer a possible solution in addition to the complaint. Which leads to another one in here that I was going to say, my favorite maybe? My favorite?
Do you know the number?
I don't know the number, but I remember the lesson.
Okay.
Try to leave the room a better place than it was when you entered the room. If we all did that, senior living would be a whole lot more comfortable, or even if there are ways in which we don't like it, because maybe family members encouraged us to be in Lansdowne Woods and we really didn't want to, more palatable. But if we all try to leave the room a better place than the one that we entered it, this book becomes, I think, very relevant. And that's why we didn't talk about this, but somebody watching this video is going to want to borrow this book from you, so they should call you at this phone number, and we'll arrange for you to get the book. But the deal is, when you're done reading it, You have to return it to her, okay?
Or pass it on. I'm okay with you passing it on.
Oh.
I'll put my name in it, and then
Okay, yeah.
and what I'll do is I'll put my name in it, and then after you read it, you put your name on there, and we'll see how many people.
We'll see if you ever see the book again.
Gets passed around. Okay.
There we go. So the first speaker was speaking about gratitude, and ultimately, if you're expressing your gratitude in written ways to enough people, it can lead to a sense of fulfillment. And frankly, I think a lot of people that we have run into at events in Lansdowne Woods don't really quite feel fulfilled. And we spoke about the coffee bean, and should we get to Chris Bird?
Yes, I know you're chomping at the bit, Andy. That was.
Okay.
He's an accountant. Chris Bird is an accountant.
Chris Bird was one of the speakers. And I should say, by the way, maybe this should have been at the beginning, that Sell-a-Bration is the name of the convention. And RRC is a division of the National Association of Realtors. And the RRC has a designation called CRS, which is Certified Residential Specialist, of which I am one.
And I have another definition for CRS, but that's okay.
That, I don't think...
Can't remember stuff.
Oh, as long as you said stuff. I thought it was going to be another S word. Okay. But in
I
any
wouldn't do that on air.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, good. So in any case, I've been to a lot of CRS conventions over the years. And so, yeah, there was stuff talking about real estate, but again, we're trying to make this relevant to Lansdowne Woods. And one of the speakers is an accountant, a guy named Chris Bird. And Chris, and yeah, he was talking about real estate tax stuff, which is important, but he was also talking about ways in which you, as residents of Lansdowne Woods, can help family members. And in the first example, if you have a great grandbaby born, because I think in our age group, your grandchildren are going to be adults anyway. So we're talking about great-grandchildren?
You never know. I mean,
yeah.
Or it could be a niece or a nephew.
It could be a niece or a nephew. And I mean, look.
As long as it's a baby.
And look, if any of you guys in Lansdowne Woods are fathering babies, that's a whole other question for another video. So, however, what Chris was talking about, one of the things, had to do with, and he prefaced his remarks by saying, because that as soon as you hear the first word of what he was talking about, half of you may completely tune this out and maybe set the video on fire.
Well, I'm glad we talked about the first two items then.
That's right, because we may lose you here, but this is really a very powerful idea, if you'll pardon the first word of it, for half of you, and that is the Trump account. The Trump account. And this has to do with the government giving newborn babies
$1,000.
$1,000 to get a head start in investing and in life. And so it's for babies that were born in 25, 26, 27, I think 28. It runs for 4 years unless it's extended.
I think it's during Trump's term.
During Trump's term.
I believe.
And so the theory on this is, let's say the parents of the baby, which would be, in the case of Lansdowne Woods, your grandchildren who are now adults, for the most part, would actually set up this account. And you have to file with the government. It's a Form 4547, and simply open an account. And there's no minimum to open the account. Uncle Sam is going to send in $1,000. Now, you can contribute up to
$5,000 a year, I believe it is.
$5,000 a year.
And that contribution can be by anybody.
It can be by anybody. It can be by the parents, great-grandparents in Lansdowne Woods, because we're trying to make this relevant.
And it doesn't have to be family member.
That's right.
It can be by anyone.
Including your real estate agent, okay, who is willing to make a contribution on your great-grandbaby's behalf towards their financial security in the future. So bear with me on some numbers here. you've heard this, bear with me. There's $5,000 a year that can be contributed. So if the first year is the year the baby's born, and it runs through age 18, the age of maturity, and up to $5,000 a year can be contributed each year from birth through the age of maturity. So let's say, and again, it can be from parents, once the child starts to work, if it's babysitting, shoveling snow, anything, the kid can contribute to their own account. If, let's say, it's Christmas or a birthday, and relatives don't know what to give the kid, and instead of giving something useless that the great-grandchild doesn't need, they can make a contribution as they go through life to this account. The money can be invested, for example, and this is an example that he used during the convention. If it goes into an S&P stock market account, and if there's no predicting the future, if the returns over the next 18 years are what they've been historically over the past 20 or the last 50 years, let's say that account gets roughly 12% interest. $5,000 per year, each and every year, from birth to age 18, at an S&P 500 average rate of return. We can't predict it. When the when the great-grandchild turns 18, through the miracle of compounding, there would be close to $300,000 that young person could have going into adulthood. And at that point, at age 18, it can be rolled into a Roth IRA retirement account, which would then compound year after year until age 59 and a half.
I'm going to do a disclosure.
A disclosure.
We are not accountants. We are simply relaying some information that we obtained.
Yes.
So before you venture out, consult your accountant to get all the details, because there's something to do with the tax deduction. I'm not sure what it is. Just wanted to get that out there. We are not accountants.
That's right. Okay. So by all means, speak to a financial planner and or your accountant, but this is a very good investment vehicle that you should be considering, and that everyone in your family should be considering, because we as realtors are considering it. And for any buyer or seller that I am working with, I'm going to make a contribution, maximum, we have legal limits, I'm going to make a contribution to your great-grandchild's financial future. And you should be speaking about this with your family members too.
Okay. I think our time is up, Andy.
I think our time is definitely up. So be sure that you subscribe to our video so you can get the next one, episode 11, having to do with Amazon buying out George Washington University. That's a big deal.
Oh, that's some good gossip there.
That's good gossip there. Hit the like button, which helps our YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow. The phone number to contact Phyllis to borrow the book. And have we forgotten something?
I don't think so.
I think we've covered the waterfront.
I think we have.
Okay. Have a great day, everyone, and we look forward to assisting your great-grandbabies in their financial growth.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye now.